everyone, welcome back to Nana's Career Steps. If this is your first time, welcome. It is lovely to have you here. So as you can see, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be making a sparkling cider sunrise mocktail as I share 5 interview tips. Before I do so, if you haven't already done so, please do hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button to stay tuned with my videos as well as get notified. So yeah, let's just get right into today's video. I'm just going to be adding some ice into my glass here. So this is just the ice. This just sets the foundation for every mocktail. Just as you would with any interview, you want to make sure that you are researching the interview prior or before that interview takes place. You want to know what their mission and vision statement is, as well as their values, but you also want to know what type of industry you're going to be getting into and what services they provide to their clients, just so that if there are any questions that are being asked on the interview in regards to what do you know about the company, you're able to answer that. But also, if they ask you why you're interested in the position, you can also just pull information with regards to the mission statement and the values and how that aligns with your values, just so that you're able to answer that question as well. Another tool that you can use when you are researching their company is Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a really great tool when you're researching a company, just because it's able to speak to a company's reputation. A lot of the times, past candidates or past employees have reviewed the company, and also employees who are currently working for the company also do go there and put in some reviews of the company. It's just a really great tool just to be able to find more information about the company and what you're going to be getting yourself into. Sometimes you will be able to see some interview questions that are being provided by past candidates who interviewed for a similar role. You're also able to pull salary ranges as well, especially if this is a role that is being filled on an occasional basis. Just in the same point in regards to research, you also want to make sure that you are reviewing that job description prior, just so that you can see how your experience aligns closely with that job description and you're able to speak to that in that interview. So now I am going to be adding my sparkling apple cider. As you can see, it's really fresh and crisp, and it does set the tone for your mocktail. Just like you would with your interview, you want to make sure that you're setting the tone by reviewing your resume prior to that interview. You want to be able to look up details, or just making sure that you're not only skimming, but reading through your interview, especially with your past experiences, just so that you are able to get a refresher on what you kind of did in those roles. Just because a lot of interviewers tend to go back maybe 3 to 4 years, just depending on your experience, especially if that's closely related to the position that you are interviewing for. So you just want to make sure that you are doing that as well. So now I am going to be adding our orange juice here. As you can see, I did add that into our glass. So that is just something bold, just to bring in the flavor. Just as you would when you're interviewing for a position, you want to make sure that you're preparing specific examples. I would usually say 2 to 3 examples are usually enough, because you don't want to go into an interview and you're just rambling and stuttering through an interview. A great method that you can use to keep you on track when answering these questions is the STAR method. I'm going to be putting that on the screen so you can kind of see and go along with what I'm saying. The STAR method stands for situation, task, action, and result. So for instance, if you were on an interview and the hiring manager asked you, tell me about a time where you were able to overcome a challenge, you want to make sure that you're stating the specific situation that you encountered. Then you will be able to talk more about your task, what your responsibility was in that specific circumstance. Then you will go ahead and state what your action step was, what you took to be able to kind of overcome that challenge. And then the last thing you would do is the end result. What was the end result of the whole circumstance? Just making sure that you're going in those steps, as I mentioned, just to make sure you're really brief and concise with your answers. So now I am going to be adding Grenadine. It's just going to be color to our mix, and it also just makes it visually pleasing. I'm just going to lift it up so you can see. Just as you would with an interview, you want to make sure that you are showing up on time, you're speaking clearly, and also if the interview is virtual, you want to make sure that your background is clear. There's not a lot of things going on. And if the interview is in person, you just want to make sure that you look very professional. A lot of the times people usually wear business casual or business professional. So I would say also making sure that you're sticking to neutral colors. I will try to find some pictures so I can put them on the screen, just to make sure that you don't look too bright, but like, you just are able to stay neutral just so, everything looks good and crisp and clean, not a lot of things going on there. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you are able to look good so you're able to stand out and look professional. So now that we've added the grenadine, I am going to be adding the last and final tip, which is our strawberries. I'm just going to be picking one here, and I am just going to be adding that to our glass. And so I am just going to be mixing it. That's kind of how like you're able to finish up with our mocktail. And that's just the final touch with our mocktail here. Just like you would with an interview, you want to make sure that you are sending a thank you email or thank you note to that interviewer or the hiring manager, just to show appreciation for taking time to interview you, and also just to reiterate you're expressing interest in the role so that they know you're interested. And it's just another selling point with regards to your interview. I hope this was a really informative video, and I hope you really enjoyed it. And I hope you were able to follow along with the tips and also the ingredients that I use for this mocktail. And yeah, hope you enjoy it, and cheers. I will see you in my next one.